So hello and welcome to my video outlining my strategic report on UTS 2027 Transformational Research Platform. So firstly, to cover the UTS 2027 Transformational Research Platform's mission statement, the key idea here is that UTS is working towards breaking down the barriers between faculties and divisions while creating a supportive research culture. Now on to the stakeholder theory. The stakeholder theory seeks to balance between the competing interests of diverse stakeholder groups. If UTS is to succeed with their ambition of creating collaborative research platforms, each of the stakeholders impacted by the strategy must be analyzed, as they have the ability to either be a blocker or an enabler to the project's success. The benefits of the stakeholder theory approach includes identifying stakeholders that may block key decisions, as well as allowing businesses to anticipate potential problems. The weaknesses of the stakeholder approach is that measuring stakeholders' stake within an organization is difficult, and as globalization continues, the interests of international stakeholders is actually hard to gauge. So now to the stakeholder identification. The first stage in any stakeholder analysis is the identification of stakeholders. The diagram shows all of the stakeholders. In the middle is UTS, and as you go further out of the diagram, you get further away from UTS, with the outer ring being international stakeholders. I'm just going to discuss a few of the more interesting stakeholders that I found along the way. So a subcategory of the employee stakeholder is the Faculty of Health, and obviously the Faculty of Health plays a major role in research at UTS. And the Faculty of Health also maintains its own strategic plan known as the UTS Health Strategy, which covers the faculty's strategic direction from 2016 to 2021. The Australian Research Council is a government organisation that funds research projects. ARC gave $700 million of funding last year, and $15 million of that went to UTS, being allocated to 41 different projects. The international governments compose both a challenge and an opportunity for collaborative research platforms. Governments can play a supportive role in bolstering research efforts by allowing universities to collaborate with each other, but they can also impart certain risks, including data sovereignty laws and complexities of securing information internationally. So next, I conducted a interest/influence matrix of stakeholders. So as you can see from this is internal stakeholders, and most internal stakeholders have been identified as having strong influence and interests, and that's because they have either a direct managerial impact or vision alignment with the proposed strategy. The external stakeholders who are local to Australia have a bit more of a diverse response range. For instance, the Australian public were identified as a blocker because of their high amount of influence, and low interest, their high influence obviously because they have a lot of say on the different funding because it's public funds. The external foreign stakeholders shared a similar result to the local stakeholders. For example, researchers from other universities are likely to be interested in the implementation of the technology, with easier collaboration on different projects with UTS. Finally, to the strategic recommendations or strategic insights. So there's obviously a need to encourage existing strategic alignment between managerial stakeholders and the transformational research platform. This can include things like the head of research at UTS, who could be a powerful supporting mechanism for the strategic project because she is a board member and she has a lot of alignment with the strategy. There needs to be alignment between strategic objectives within the internal environment of an organization. So the Faculty of Health needs to align with the UTS 2027 report, or vice versa. The Australian Research Foundation must be appropriately engaged in order to put the funding process into the platform. Also, researchers and employees who utilize or be directly impacted should have their requirements analyzed, and this will, in the end, increase the uptake of the platform. Any implementation of the collaborative research platform should take into account regulations of the government that it operates in, and these include important things like data sovereignty laws that need to be analyzed depending on what country the data originated from. Thank you very much for listening to my strategic analysis.